Greetings and welcome. I am Joffrey, and today I just want to highlight a short little feature from Lord Lambert's video where he talks about his experience playing EU5 as Florence. Now, this is a very specific point about the UI because I feel a lot of people are not happy with a lot of different elements of the UI, and while some aspects of it I can understand are they could be better. There are some things that I think people are really overlooking and not appreciating with the amount that it should be valued. Specifically, things like these nested tooltips that EU5 is so good at carrying over from Crusader Kings 3 and Imperator Rome. This whole highlighting of different elements of the UI and then opening a panel because of it that tells you more information and more information. So of course he was here at this point in the video. I'm probably going to be discussing various elements of this video a few different times, to be honest, because there's a lot of really good stuff in this video. I really appreciate Lambert's video because there aren't really any other videos that the content creators made that were his style. It's very unique. But here he was talking about how Florence's economy is focused on making fine cloth and how dyes are important to that process. Now, as a result of that, he wants to make more fine cloth buildings. So he hovered over fine cloth and was like, all right, one of the components is dyes. Where can I get dyes? Oh, the dye maker makes dyes. So then he thinks, well, okay, where are dyes being produced, or where can I get them? And you see, there's this element that I never imagined that they would include, where you see, I could picture, here you have the die maker, which the die maker has a very simple production method of just you can make a die with just wood, just 0.45 wood, which is a little surprising. But the other one is alum, I believe. There's a tiny bit of alum and a lot of wood for a much larger portion of dyes. Very efficient. So it's nice to have the alum, I suppose, for that. But the question, so I'd imagine if you hovered over the wood, for example, you could see this menu that he has opened up here about dyes, and be like, okay, this is what wood does. This is, some information about it, and what can I find out about it? But I didn't even consider the fact that dyes is also a raw good too. You can produce it with these building, this dye maker building, but you can also just collect it naturally. It is a resource on the map, and as a result of that, he can hear when he hovers over it, brings up this big UI that talks about this is how much it weighs, I believe, the 0.5. Yeah, I think that's its weight. And then it tells you a ton of information about it. Extraction method, farming. So it even tells you just what style of building is required for it. So whether it's a mine or a farm, because I believe alum is a mined resource, for example. But here he can click on the goods panel and it shows him everywhere that it is being produced. Now, I believe that the purple here, not purple, the brown here is showing that this resource is being produced here through farming, and that in Florence itself, it is either this is saying that it is being produced with a building, so it's showing you a different color because it's a different production method to make it, because here it's an RGO in this eastern settlement he wants to now go after, or it's being used, so either it's used as an input good here, or it's being produced as an output by a die maker building. Theoretically here, it's not actually being produced by a building, and is in fact just a raw good, and that's why he wants it, because of course it'll be a much more effective way to get it as an RGO than it would be to be produced, specifically because also now, I should clarify that sometimes, of course, you want to just manufacture a resource just for the sake of manufacturing it, because it will increase your country's economy, your GDP, basically. they call it the tax base, just through the effort of your pops making stuff and then selling it, because that stimulates the tax base, I believe is how generalist gaming puts it. But here, these resources, this uses up a ton of wood, and that would mean that the price of wood would go up, and you don't want the price of wood to be high in your markets. You want to be producing a large excess of wood so that you are able to build buildings super cheap, along with masonry. So as a result, this is a very long-winded way of saying, I really like this UI element. It tells us where resources show up on the map, presumably both just by clicking on this, where they are produced naturally, where they are being used as input goods, and where they're being produced through a production method. It's all guesswork though, and perhaps people will be able to tell me the correct answer in the comments if I am gravely misunderstanding the situation. But that is enough of me going on a very long yap about such a simple topic as this UI element. Thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye bye.